Coming out of the Anime Expo 2019, we've got several announcements on new PlayStation 4 games coming from very popular IPs. A free-to-play Mobile Suit Gundam game is coming, as well as a brand new One Piece title in One Piece Pirate Warriors 4. Generally speaking, anime games aren't the best. However, in the case of One Piece titles, the One Piece Pirate Warriors line of games have actually been relatively good, and this Gundam game is a free-to-play title, so it's gonna have some inherent interest from that regard, especially being that Gundam is one of the more popular IPs around, and given that it's a free-to-play game, I think many of you guys will at least be relatively excited to give it a chance. Also, the PlayStation 4 version of Wargroove is almost ready for a release. We'll talk all about that. Ben Studios' Days Gone has done very well from a commercial standpoint, a little bit of a mixed reception critically, but it seems like gamers have really enjoyed it, and now even more content is on the way. The second free Days Gone DLC challenge has unlocked, and we'll go over that via a tweet from the guys at Ben Studio. And lastly, if you did not check out the free Borderlands 2 DLC, I want to reiterate that it's only going to be free until July 8th at 11:59. After that, you will have to pay $14.99 for it. I know the majority of you guys have Borderlands 2 thanks to the Handsome Collection being a freebie for the month of June for PlayStation Plus subscribers, but make sure you snag up the DLC as well. We'll talk that at the end of this video, especially as we're getting closer to the release of Borderlands 3. First up, a brand new free-to-play team battle action game in Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operations 2 is coming to the PlayStation 4 in the West in 2019. Cool to see the PlayStation 4's repertoire of free-to-play offerings continue to grow, and now we've got a free-to-play offering from one of the most popular IPs, at the very least one of the most popular Japanese IPs around in Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operations 2. The game's key features tout 6v6 online battles, join players around the globe in 6v6 team online battles. Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operations 2 features the critically acclaimed land combat of its predecessor and turns it up a notch by adding all new space battles. Fight for survival with your comrades on realistic battlefields. You've also got infantry battles. Mobile suits aren't the only heroes on the battlefield. Pilots can place bombs in enemy bases or request support fire to contribute to the cause. Sometimes infantry fights can even decide the outcome of the battle. You'll acquire and customize mobile suits, spend the earned DP to develop mobile suits after battle, and spend tokens for attempts at the lottery that can award powerful mobile suits. You can also enhance your favorite mobile suits through customization. You've got a base camp where you can interact with players from around the world in an online lobby, become a pilot, and make battle preparations such as upgrading mobile suits in the neutral base camp. In addition, you can freely interact with an assortment of battle comrades that cross your path, and it's ever evolving. New mobile suit stages and costumes will be added to Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation 2 regularly, while also featuring regular events. The game will keep evolving on a daily basis. So that is Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation 2. Again, it's coming to the West in 2019, so pretty excited for that. I honestly don't know how this one is going to turn out. If you look at the lineup of past Gundam games, let's just say they have not been very good. Honestly, I can't remember a Gundam game that has really been very, very good. There have been some mediocre titles like the Dynasty Warriors Gundam games, but man, some of those Gundam titles on the PlayStation 2 were absolutely atrocious, and that's coming from someone that's a big fan of the IP. I've watched a lot of the Gundam anime, but some of the games left a lot to be desired, so let's hope this one turns out a little bit differently. At the very least, it is a free-to-play title, so it's not like we're gonna make a gigantic investment in trying it out. Alright, next up, one anime IP that's been a little bit more consistent is the One Piece Pirate Warriors line of games, and One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 has been announced for the PlayStation 4. This is also a Dynasty Warriors Musou style game where it's heavy on the action elements. However, One Piece Pirate Warriors has generally been received very well. Now, unlike Gundam, I'm not a big fan of One Piece, so I can't really speak on it from that sense. However, gameplay-wise, they are relatively well-made games, and if you look up One Piece Pirate Warriors 3 on Metacritic, the game's actually got a 74, which is very, very good for these Musou-style games. Some of these games get into the 50 or 40 ranges, so whenever you have a game at 74, that's pretty good, and a lot of these reviewers aren't even a fan of One Piece. So if you are an inherent fan of the IP, you're gonna get a lot more enjoyment out of the game, so bear that in mind as well. These games generally are pretty good if you're a fan of One Piece. I mean, if you do want a, no-nonsense action title, you can find that in One Piece Pirate Warriors 4, but I would highly recommend you to be a fan of the IP, and then you're probably gonna get the most out of it. I mean, I've watched One Piece here and there, but definitely not as invested as some of the ardent One Piece fans watching all, north of 800 episodes at this point. Just a gigantic investment. I don't know how anybody can get into it at this point. I'm sure that there's filler you can cut out, but still, if you're talking north of even 600 episodes after cutting out all the filler. That's a lot of episodes for anyone to get into. So that barrier seems way too crazy, but nonetheless, One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 is on the way, and it'll be out in 2020 on the PlayStation 4. There is also a reveal trailer. You don't get a gigantic taste for the game, but I'm sure it'll be much like the previous Pirate Warriors game, so it's not like there's a ton to dissect there. Okay, moving on from that, here's something I'm very excited for. The PlayStation 4 version of Wargroove is almost ready for a release date. This was revealed by Chucklefish, the British developer and Stardew Valley publisher, and they just brought the news that its turn-based tactics game in Wargroove is almost ready for a PS4 release date. Now, this has actually been out for a little while on PC, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch owners. They've been playing the game since February 1st of this year, so yes, it's been north of 5 months, and it looks like the PlayStation 4 owners will finally get to try the game soon. Chucklefish shared that the port is in its final stages of CERT and the platform holder's approval system. A release date should be coming soon, however, they didn't clarify when exactly it would be dropping. I imagine that this is going to be the type of game when a release date is announced, it's going to be quickly thereafter that the game is actually released. I imagine that this could be one that's out before the end of the summer. It's not going to take a lot of time since, again, the fundamental aspects of the game are ready. The port will have all of the same content featured in the other versions of the game with the exception of cross-platform multiplayer, so that's a pretty big bummer. However, that's not much of a surprise given that Sony has had a little bit of a barrier in regards to cross-platform multiplayer, and only recently have they let those barriers down to some of the bigger game releases, a lot of the free-to-play games, but nonetheless, Wargroove's PlayStation 4 port will support downloading community-made map designs and content sharing across platforms, so that's at least a nice inclusion. The post that Chucklefish put out also mentioned obstacles that resulted in development taking longer than anticipated, technical problems surrounding how multiplayer and content sharing would work, and Chucklefish also hinted at issues it wasn't able to talk about due to a non-disclosure agreement. So a bummer there, but at the very least, they got everything remedied, and it looks like Wargroove will be ready for a release relatively shortly. Now, this game was received very well. A lot of people have drawn resemblances to games like Advance Wars, so that's a very positive point. It's got that same turn-based strategy gameplay. You've got a great pixel art style in there as well, and it has you take up the battlefield with Wargroove, a strategy game for up to 4 players. Choose your commander and wage turn-based war on battling factions, design and share maps, cutscenes, and campaigns with easy-to-use editors and in-depth customization tools. The PC version of the game got an 82 on Metacritic, so that's very good, and as far as the Steam reception goes, 1,642 Steam reviews, pegging it at 83% positive reviews. That's very positive. And I just want to see it make the transition over to PlayStation 4 sooner rather than later. It was released at $19.99, so kind of a hefty price point, but nonetheless not all too bad given all of the content you're getting with the game, especially with all of the user-created content on there as well. So excited to finally hear more from that as far as the PS4 release goes. Alright, moving on from that, Days Gone was one of the more compelling PlayStation 4 game releases of the year, a big exclusive coming from the guys at Ben Studio, and the game has just been getting better and better. And Ben Studio tweeted out earlier, the second free Days Gone DLC challenge has unlocked. Of course, they are pumping out free content for Days Gone, making the game better and better. The fundamental design of the game remains intact. However, we are getting additional content, and they noted it's you versus wave after wave of marauders. Hold out as long as possible by utilizing stealth and the weapons dropped by your enemies and survive. They put out a little trailer over on their Twitter page, but a lot of content is actually being added to Days Gone. Again, not fundamentally changing game design or anything like that, but in terms of the longevity of the game and how long you're going to play the game, it's definitely been enhanced quite a bit. I don't know how many of us are still completely invested into Days Gone as an experience, but for those of you that have been holding out for a little bit, maybe waiting on a deeper discount, they continue to add more and more content, and by the time you check it out, you might actually have a far more expansive game than the people that played the game at launch. They've already added a decent amount of content, and it seems like they're not stopping anytime soon. I thought Days Gone was a pretty good game. Rarely do I say this, but I thought this was one of the games that overstayed its welcome a little bit. I think it could have been a better game if it was around 5 to 7 hours shorter, but nonetheless, I still thought the game was very good. A great open world. Visually, it is fantastic, and the gameplay is pretty solid as well. Story is hit or miss at times, but I think for the most part, it is relatively good. And cool to see it continuing to get free content updates. And lastly, speaking of free, I want to note that Borderlands 2's DLC is only free through July 8th. If you did not check it out, which I don't know why you didn't, because I imagine the majority of you guys have Borderlands 2. You have the Handsome Collection thanks to the game being a PlayStation Plus freebie for the month of June, and it just got added to PlayStation Now as well. I want to let you guys know that Commander Lilith and the Fight for Sanctuary will jump to $14.99 at 11:59 p.m. Pacific on July 8th, 2019. So you have until then to add it to your library, and it actually adds quite a bit of content. It bridges the gap between Borderlands 2 and 3, Commander Lilith and the Fight for Sanctuary. adds quite a bit of content and increases the level cap to 80 up from 72, so there are plenty more reasons to go back and check the game out. Even if you aren't jumping back into Borderlands 2 right away, maybe you're waiting on it getting closer to the release of Borderlands 3, make sure you add this DLC to your library. I know for a fact that there are gonna be people out there that a month goes by and they're gonna be like, oh, let me get that free DLC for Borderlands 2, and oh, look at that, it's $14.99 now. I don't want you guys to neg $15. You can use that $15 and put it towards a game that's coming out in the fall. Hell, you could use it during a PlayStation Store sale and sometimes pick up 3 other games with that kind of money. I know in the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot of money, but if you can get it for free, why not get it for free? And you have until July 8th at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time to check it out for free, so make sure you add that to your library. And that's gonna conclude this video. Again, we got a bunch of new game announcements. Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation 2 is coming west in 2019. One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 has been announced for 2020. A PlayStation 4 version of Wargroove is almost ready to have a release date announced. Ben Studio continues to add more free content to Days Gone, and Borderlands 2's free DLC is only going to be available through July 8th. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.